2022. Dr. Campos?
Good morning, everyone. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum for today. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. President Garcia, we do have quorum this morning. President Garcia, we do have one caller on the line under general public comment. We have no commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section. We also have one caller on the line for all items for today's agenda. Again, items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Very well, thank you. Dr. Campos, can we take public comment now?
Absolutely. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is now considering general public comment. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community and resident of Northeast LA. In Northeast LA, there's a very big movement right now to help the black woman because it is being trashed on virtually every major lot, especially when there's a proposed development on it. It's the walnut is often removed by brush clearance because it's a fire hazard. No, it's because the vacant lot developers want to get rid of it so that they don't have to include it in their tree reports. So the Board of Public Works is responsible for the protected trees, plants, and they need to make sure that all of the other departments of the city of Los Angeles are in compliance with your requirements. There's a problem that brush clearance has taken priority and is used as a means of removing all of the native plants from a particular plot that's going, especially if it's going to be developed during the next year or so. So LA Fire Department and Board of Public Works need to coordinate their activities to protect the black walnut and other protected trees. There's also a matter that the California Department of Fish and Wildlife requires 5-to-1 ratio of replacement if you remove a protected tree. So there needs to be an updating of your protected tree requirements and rules, and especially coordinate with the LA Fire Department brush clearance section and the Board of Building and Safety, because they also have
2
tree
minutes.
reports and clearance. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, we do have one other member of the, we do have one other member on the virtual platform that raised their hand, Matthew Crow. Matthew Crow, if you can unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is considering general public comment. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead and unmute your microphone. This is for Matthew Robert Crow, C-R-O-W, who's joining us through the Zoom application. You have your hand raised under general public comment. You have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead if you can unmute your microphone at this time. Last call for Matthew Robert Crow, C-R-O-W as the last name. The Board of Public Works is considering general public comment. Please go ahead and unmute your microphone. If you can hear us, but you cannot, if you are speaking and we are not unable to hear you, if you can just lower your hand, I just want to confirm that you can hear us. Again, this is for Matthew Robert Crow.
Fernando, I think Robert's on the Metro team. I think he wants to be part of the panel.
Oh, is this for the Metro team?
Yeah, he's part of the team.
Okay, sorry about that. We're under general public comment, that's why. President Garcia, sorry for that delay. That does clear the queue for general public comment.
Great, thank you very much, Dr. Campos. Public comments now officially closed. Moving on to the first item of minutes for today, which is the approval of the minutes for Friday, November 18th, 2022. Is there a second to my motion to move this item forward and forthwith?
Second.
Thank you, VP Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by me and a second by Vice President Villegas to move the approval of the minutes for Friday, November 18th, forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Dr. Campos. Colleagues, we're very delighted today to add an additional presentation this month. So I'm going to take the liberty to go up to the podium and do the presentation from there. So if you could just give me a few minutes. And then colleagues and those folks on Zoom, we will restart our items after our presentation. It's a short meeting. We have 4 items, and we have a presentation by the Metro team at the end of today's meeting. So exciting times here at the board today. So if you give me just 1 second. And I also want to make sure that we have Luis Gonzalez from Council District 1, Hugo Ortiz from Council District 1, Ana Tabuena Reddy from Bureau of Street Services, and also joining us here today is Marco Pacheco, co-founder of Casa Cultura Maya. So if you guys come up, I'm going to go up there right now. Colleagues, good morning. Thank you for having me and for letting me have the time to do this presentation. And for the members of the public and members of the folks listening us outside, I'm going to give a short description of what the Maya Corridor is and then present our certificates to our folks who have been very integral from day one, maybe 3-4 years ago that we started this venture, folks that have been committed not only by their work, but also their profession, but their passion to make, highlight the community of the Mayan civilization when we had it many, many years ago and continues to thrive here in this area. Again, I want to thank the Bureau of Street Services, the Bureau of Street Lighting, Casa de Cultura Maya, Maya Visión, and the community of Council District 1 who have been working together closely to propose and implement the forthcoming Maya Corridor project along 6th Street. The Maya Corridor will be implemented in the heart of Los Angeles' densely populated Westlake District. The Westlake community is made up of vibrant and bustling community of Salvadoran and Guatemalan heritage. Almost 75% of the community is Latino ancestry, with 67% foreign-born. The project runs along 6th Street from Caronlet Street, hope I'm saying that right, Caronlet Street, to Loma Drive, and will celebrate the cultural legacy of the Maya civilization. The project contributes to the urban design of the Westlake community and Los Angeles by celebrating the Central American heritage of the Westlake community and by providing amenities that will support the street life along 6th Street corridor. The Maya Corridor proposes several place-making elements, including 2 gateway monuments to mark the entries at Parkview Street and Loma Drive, 5 custom decorative intersection and crosswalk designs that highlight the Maya culture, 14 educational signage, 14 custom bus stop lighting at 8 bus zones, and custom colored sidewalks along the entire length of the Maya Corridor, and 42 street trees will be planted there. And I want to say highlight and thank you to Rachel Malrich that coincidentally is also here and has made this happen as well. So thank you to you two for making sure that the Maya Corridor will have the right tree in the right place. Thank you. So that was timely. I want to just highlight the 5 Central American countries we will be highlighting during the Maya Corridor. Each intersection will have a theme design mirroring significant Maya locations and motifs. Chichen Itza for Mexico, Tikal for Guatemala, Copan for Honduras, Tazumal for El Salvador, and El Caracol for Belize. The team right now is currently coordinating with Central American consulates of the corresponding countries to provide informational text for several of the educational wayfinding elements. And with that, it gives me great honor to highlight and celebrate the folks that made this happen, who are boots on the ground, not only walking 6th Street, but we're also in tons of meetings. Hugo, who is the current district director for Council District 1, very much made sure that this program stayed alive, and he found a way to always make sure we had the appropriate and necessary funding for this project to continue and to happen. So with that, I present this certificate in recognition for Hugo Ortiz from the Board of Public Works. On behalf of the City of Los Angeles, the Board of Public Works is pleased to recognize your dedication and diligence in building the Maya Corridor in the Westlake District within the City of Los Angeles. Your efforts in the education and history of Maya civilization will be ingrained in the culture of Los Angeles for a very long time. And with that, Hugo Ortiz. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Oh, of course. Second certificate of recognition is for Luis Gonzalez. Luis Gonzalez, thank you for being really boots on the ground, for taking the shots and arrows that were given, but also to have the foresight of this being such an important project for the community. And with that, Luis Gonzalez, on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, the Board of Public Works, is pleased to recognize your dedication and diligence in building the Maya Corridor in the Westlake District within the City of Los Angeles. Your efforts in the education and history of Maya civilization will be ingrained in the culture of Los Angeles for a very long time. And with that, we thank you for your time as well. I also want to say that we celebrated Marco Pacheco November 19th in our very exciting and well-attended community event. This certificate would actually provided to Marco Pacheco as the founder of Casa Cultura Maya and our cultural consultant who has really guide us on what glyphs in the history of the Maya community and what would be represented here in the city of LA. So Marco Pacheco, you received your certificate actually by Mayor Garcetti. So thank you for that. We fully recognize your help and your support with this program. Thank you, Marco. And thank you for being here. Marco is a long-time resident of the community in Council District 1, and he's a community stakeholder, and he has his nonprofit set also in the community of District 1. So Marco, thank you for all your help and for everything you've done, and thank you for putting that amazing ceremony and event on Saturday the 19th. It was, those who attended, it was just beautiful to be part of all of that. Thank you. You didn't bring yours? I should have told you. It's okay. All right, and I want to also thank two folks that, the Bureau of Street Services took on this project a couple years ago as in design. We started with renderings, and we just started to figure out that area and what we can do. And one of our very high esteemed, now current, as of last week, our new Assistant Director for the Bureau of Street Services, Ana Tabuena-Reddy. Yay! Very well deserved. Ana Tabuena-Reddy has been on day one with this project. She has not only really put together renderings, her and Nina Finawong, she's not here today. She's in a very well-deserved vacation, but we'll make sure we'll get the certificate to her. Ana Tabuena-Reddy has been really the lead on this project. We have other bureaus involved, Bureau of Street Lighting. We have, like we said, Rachel with the tree planting, and we have a lot, but really Rachel has been pulling us all together. Ana Tabuena-Reddy has really been putting us all together on this project, and just everything that she has thought about has been very detailed and meticulously well put in place, and I know this project's going to be a success because the construction paperwork that Ana Tabuena-Reddy has been overseeing is going to be well founded there. So thank you for that. And with that, Ana Tabuena-Reddy, we recognize you on behalf of the Board of Public Works in the City of Los Angeles. We are pleased to recognize your dedication and diligence in building the Maya Corridor in the Westlake District within the City of Los Angeles. Your efforts in the education and history of Maya civilization will be ingrained in the culture of Los Angeles for a very long time. And with that, Ana Tabuena-Reddy. Yeah, we're gonna go over there. And colleagues, I invite you to either, if you have any comments or any words, this would be, the time, and then we'll just take 5 minutes to take pictures over there as a group, and then we can close our recognition for this time. So I know I'm not in that chair, so Teresa, if you don't mind. Sorry about that.
No problem.
By the way, thank you, colleagues, for supporting this project as well. Just like we're so excited to support many of the other revitalized corridors that we're doing throughout the city. We're happy that this is part of that effort that we're doing as a whole here at Public Works. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I think that Pro Tem, you have some comments. The floor is yours.
Absolutely. It's an honor and a privilege for me to congratulate you for your contribution to the Los Angeles society in general, and in particular to enhance the various diversity that we have in the diaspora of the Latino experience. And so it's very welcoming to know that for those from Central America, that we too will have some identity and some effort and symbol of belongingness. Los Angeles in general is probably America's most dynamic and most diverse city of many cultures, perhaps more than any other city. And it's so warming to know that you have helped to add to who we are and what we are. It is certainly one of the principles that Mayor Eric Garcetti has provided leadership for throughout his tenure of being the leader of the city of Los Angeles. So again, I congratulate you, and what you are doing is so consistent with the values of leadership of the great city, the nation's second largest city, Los Angeles. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you. And I didn't see, did you want to say something? Sure.
Just very short, because my voice is still not well, but I just want to congratulate all of you and all the people who have worked on this project. I saw the news coverage, and I was really excited about things that are embedded in the community that help that community in terms of their identity and their livelihood, their culture, and their values. Art is something that when we think about it, if it's everywhere, it surrounds us, it teaches us the history. And that history, I'm always very supportive of looking at our own history through clear eyes, because then it also helps us understand the world in its entirety better. So congratulations, and thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you. And it's so funny, we just see ourselves clapping virtually all the time. To see us clapping and to hear the noise is nice. And I just wanted to take just a minute of your time just to congratulate all of you as well, and just for your diligence and for not letting go of the project and really keeping at it. And really having the attribute to dig deep and really investigate just history here. I think some of my other colleagues have mentioned the same thing, but I think it's in this world where we have an increase in hate crime, it's very, very important for all of us to recognize, the background of California, especially Los Angeles, and such a diverse city that we live in. And this is just going to be a beautiful, beautiful project, just with a lot of tenacity and love. So I'm looking forward just to, as an Angelino, just to seeing it, come to fruition. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's been a blessing to be part of this project. For me personally, it's been an endeavor, and I'm very proud that of the city and everyone that has contributed to make this a reality. Not only on a personal level, but also for our communities, our vibrant communities that are indigenous communities. that live and thrive in the city, that have helped so much in the development of this city in so many ways. And so, I hate to say it, it's overdue, but it definitely is a blessing, that we finally see this come true. I said, in my remarks, the day off is that, this is a community with soul, giving something back to the city of those whose spirit want to fly. So I end with that. Thank you.
On behalf of Streets LA, Bureau of Street Services, we're very honored to be part of this project. I'm just amazed at the dedication of the folks that have been involved in this project, making sure that it happens. And we're just really amazed that we can be part of that. And we're looking forward to the, final ribbon cutting when we have the Maya monuments and all the other, elements of this project. Thank you.
Commissioners, really appreciate it. Madam President, extremely classy, as I mentioned earlier. As our day-to-day goes in our line of field of work, we attend a lot of these. It is actually the first time that we've been acknowledged about some work that we really don't put a lot of thought into it. I think it started even before our tenure here, and it's beautiful to see that it'll continue beyond as well. You mentioned 3-4 years. It feels like 30 or 40, right, since we started. But we're here now, and I thank you very much. We very appreciate the acknowledgement and recognition today. Thank you all.
Just to echo a little bit about what Hugo said, I just want to thank you because it's not very common that the Board of Public Works recognizes the work of the city employees like this. And I just wanted to thank you for that. And this is one of my dearest projects that I had the privilege of working on, since it was just a conversation between Marco and I until now. It almost makes me cry because to see, all the work that was put into it and all the dedication that the city coming together, thanks to the leadership of the Commissioner Garcia, of bringing all the departments together and actually make it happen, is something that I'm not only proud, but also is something that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. So thank you so much for this recognition.
I just personally want to say thank you for being part of this, and it's really nice that we'll make sure to have a place in the city of Los Angeles to recognize our indigenous community. So thank you all for, you have been a really big part of this, and I'm going to miss some of you very dearly, but I still hope that I can pull on you and make sure that we work together and at some element. So thank you with that. And with that, colleagues, if I will close the presentation for today, and thank you for having the time for recognizing the Maya Corridor work. And if we can just take 5 minutes to take a group picture with our honorees today. With that, I thank you. And again, I look forward to seeing this program to come to fruition. And when it does, we hope to invite everybody and everybody's welcome in that area. So thank you again. And I will now take a few minutes to take pictures.
For those listening in through the virtual platform, the Board of Public Works will take a 5-minute recess to take some photos for those in person at the boardroom. Thank you very much for your patience, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you. President Garcia, let me go ahead and get started for the recording, and I will reestablish quorum for you, although we didn't leave the room, but just for those that are joining us virtually, we have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Corzan and Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum, and you are in record mode.
Thank you, Dr. Campos, for that. Again, every time we have a celebration and coming back to business is always a difficult transition, but we will do the best we can. All right, starting with item number 1 from the Bureau of Sanitation. This is a request in Council District 11, a memorandum of agreement between the University of California, Los Angeles and the Bureau of Sanitation, recommending the board to 1, approve the attached MOA and authorize the Director of the Bureau of Sanitation to enter in the proposed MOA between the City of Los Angeles and the University of California, Los Angeles for conducting scientific studies and research through mutual interest and to develop collaboration and exchanges in fields of shared interest and expertise. And this morning, good morning, ma'am, we have Sharusi Sanei. Yes. Okay, good. Welcome, ma'am.
President Garcia, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, would you like to take public comments first or after the presentation?
No, we'll take public comment now. Thank you. Give us a few seconds.
Perfect. Shenruze's apologies for just a 2-minute delay for this. Dr. Tom Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 1 at this time. You'll have 2 minutes to speak for item number 1. Please go ahead.
Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. I highly recommend the Bureau of Sanitation get some help on doing the sewers. It's going to be a big project. So getting UCLA, my wife's alma mater, to help will do well. You should also get Streets LA involved with the University of California, Los Angeles, because they're doing quite a bit of work on the gondola or LA Art project for Metro. So highly recommend. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for public comments on item number 1.
Great. Go ahead, Ms. Sanyi.
Good morning. My name is Sharuz Sanei with LA Sanitation Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. The purpose for this agreement is to set the intentions of LA Sanitation and University of California, Los Angeles to conduct scientific studies in the area of shared interest and expertise. The budget for this agreement is $900,000 over the 3 years. LA Sanitation has a number of sustainable environmental goals and mandates that must be met, including expansion of water recycling program, energy efficiency, climate change, and biodiversity. The scientists that will be cooperating with LA Sanitation staff are top researchers in their field. This agreement will allow the LA Sanitation to be more responsive to the needed research project in specific fields that otherwise would require several months or a year to create. It will assist the university instructors and curriculum developers to learn more about technical skill set needed for employment with LA Sanitation and better prepare a student for specific areas required to work and operate and manage LA Sanitation operations. This also will provide economic development benefit to Los Angeles by creating local jobs and assisting the local university to attract and retain the top scientists and engineers in the country. Therefore, it is recommended that this mutual agreement between LA Sanitation and University of California, Los Angeles be approved. This concludes the staff report. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Great, thank you. Hang on for questions. Colleagues, any questions? Vice President Villegas?
Thank you. I appreciate you bringing this forward to us. Can you just repeat what specifically will they be doing? What kind of research?
Research in several areas that would, all of our sanitation staff, if there is a need in any specific areas, in water recycling, climate change, biodiversity, and there is a specific need to conduct projects or research, there is a committee that is going to be formed, which is co-chaired by UCLA and project manager at LA Sanitation site. We review all the research project needs every year and prioritize and set the research agenda. And then for every research item, we are developing task order that would clearly define the scope of the project, the budget, the composition of the staff, and deliverables. So for example, I'm working with Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. We have a lot of issues that we need help and we are short with resources. For example, if we need to improve the performance of, for example, our digester to increase more, to produce more gas in order to convert it to energy and electricity that meet our demand. So that would be one area that would be focusing, or improving the air pollution control unit in our facility to improve the odor control, and which would reduce and help the community to address for the odor issues.
Okay, so the MOA would identify various tasks or
General scope
general-
in the water recycling and everything, but once the committees get together, we go over our various research projects and set the agenda for the year and identify each project in a specific.
How long is the MOA?
3 years.
Okay, and how was the university selected?
Well, before pandemic, we started negotiation with all universities. The rest of them lingered behind, and we stayed with the University of California, Los Angeles. However, we are planning to continue the discussions with other universities also. In the past, we have been working independently. Each various division within LA Sanitation have been working separately. But this brings everything under one MOA, which would be more efficient.
Okay. Thank you for that. Just didn't know how they were selected. I know Caltech does a lot of good work as well, and just a lot of research just on some of the issues, obviously, that LA Sand covers as well. So I didn't know if the breadth of other universities that we're so blessed to have in this area was wide and expanded to others.
Sure. We are planning to continue our discussion with other universities too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Davis?
Yes, so I also agree with my colleague about the value of this relationship in the MOU, and I think you have addressed one of the issues that I wanted to raise in terms of creating the opportunity for other universities to do the same. There's certainly clearly value in our collaboration, and in fact, that's why each organization is what it is. The research that we have to do certainly should be enhanced by those organizations in our area, in our city in particular, who are researchers. And certainly UCLA is one, but we also have other universities that can do the same. So I'm very supportive of this, and I know that it will add value to the research that we do, and I am hopeful that some of the other universities, Cal State's perhaps may have as well, some opportunity in which they can help to engage with us. My question is around the various disciplines that we have this MOU with, specifically at UCLA. Is there any one particular discipline that we have agreed to work with, or is this a general MOU that will be applicable to any one of the academic disciplines at UCLA who might be able to contribute to
It is a general MOU, and depending on research needs, we are going to identify the composition of the staff and the skill required and the timeline and the budget based on agreement between both parties.
Because we have multiple scientific units there academically at UCLA that could be of help to us. And I don't know, perhaps they might have an environmental engineering and other disciplines that are relevant, but it's important that we would be available to work with anyone of the various departments at UCLA that could be of help to us. And if the MOU that you are presenting now captures all of that, then that's good to know.
There is a principal investigator on the UCLA side, and they are the one that would propose any ideas or research project, and then we are going to approve and discuss.
Got it.
We do the same thing on this side too. So we need to work together, identify what would be the best interest of both parties and within the expertise of the both parties.
Great. Well, this in on itself is certainly a great relationship, and we both are government agencies, and glad to see that we are beginning to engage more with our brother and sister academic institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Commissioner Reyes?
Thank you for the MOA. I think it is very timely, and that we are using an academic institution with enough resources and talent to give us, advise us, steer us the right way. My question is more on the exact work that if you have considered workforce development and recruitment, because that is an area that LA Sanitation and really most of our other shops are experiencing difficulty on the recruitment, retainment, and also looking at the future of work. And I think UCLA has that specific expertise that I would like workforce development and the future of work be included and scoped out as part of their research, and really looking at how the different jobs, the huge infrastructure projects that we're going to be having will actually benefit our local hires, and then at the same time increase the number of jobs. You mentioned about job creation in the pipeline. So that is one thing. In addition, of course, to the equity and social justice lens that we should always be applying when we have contracts like this.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. I have more of technical questions. By the way, I'm very supportive of this, and I appreciate the partnership that when we reach out to universities, especially in our backyard. But my question is, I see that there's an exchange of funds, right?
There is what?
Exchange of funds?
Exchange of fund?
Yes, funds, dollars.
Yeah. What? I'm sorry.
Is there an exchange of funds? I see here that we have
$900,000.
That's your ceiling, right? And right now we have $300,000 allocated to them.
We have $3,000 allocated, but we haven't started anything, so we haven't appropriated anything yet.
Correct. Okay, that's where I'm heading to. I just want to confirm that this is a contractual of a ceiling of $900,000 with $300,000 currently identified.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So with that, Ms. Anilla, I'm gonna put in a friendly amendment here, because every time there's exchange of funds, it has to come through our authorizing board, which is this one. And so according to the recommendation number 1, you have authorized the Director of Bureau of Sanitation. We always have to make sure the president or 2 commissioners also authorize any exchange of funds, especially with scope of work. So I'm gonna just add it on the amendment that it's gonna read now, approve the attached MOA and authorize the president or 2 commissioners of the board and the Director of Bureau of Sanitation to enter into the proposed MOA.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Any objections, colleagues? No. Hearing none. Dr. Campos, that was a motion from me,
That would be as amended.
as amended.
I'll second that.
Thank you, VP Villegas.
Great. We have a motion from Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Villegas to adopt item number 1 as amended. We'll go ahead and start the roll tabulation at this time. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted as amended
Thank you.
unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anilla. You're good to go now.
Thank you.
All right, colleagues, moving us on to item number 2 on today's agenda. This is from our Executive Board offices, a contractual amendment in all council districts to the Los Angeles Conservation Corps fiscal year 2022-2023. I'm going to read it into the record, and I'll take public record before Rachel Malrich comes up. Recommending the board to, 1, authorize the Office of Community Beautification to execute the amended to the contract with the Los Angeles Conservation Corps in the amount of $2,407,488.68 to fund citywide tree planting services. And 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board of Public Works to execute the contract amended after approval as to form has been obtained by city attorney and subject to concurrence by the mayor. And with that, we'll take public comment first. Dr. Campos?
Absolutely. Dr. Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 2. You will have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Good morning again. Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. And we're doing tree planting out here in Northeast LA, but I highly recommend that the Office of Community Beautification in this one plant native trees. That is, both the oak and the walnuts are good for many different places in the city of Los Angeles. Sycamores are good also, but they're a bit more restricted. But we need more black walnut and we need more oaks. And I'd highly recommend that the LA Conservation Corps be considering use of only native plants for the planting in the citywide tree planting services. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for public comments on item number 2.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Public comment for item number 2 is now officially closed. Today, we have Rachel Malrich, our Chief Forest Officer, here with us doing today's presentation. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, President Garcia, Commissioners. So good to be here with you in person this morning. Again, what we have before us is a contract amendment with the Los Angeles Conservation Corps for $2,407,488.68. In July of this year, July 29th, your board approved a new MOU with DWP, a 1-year MOU with the opportunity for 2 additional 1-year extensions, totaling hopefully a 3-year program that we'll be doing with them, continuing our tree planting program for energy efficiency. We have now received the first round of funds from DWP into the Public Works Trust Fund and are ready to move forward with this contract amendment with the Conservation Corps so we can move forward with the work on this program. This contract amendment would include the planting of 18,250 trees over the next year by Los Angeles Conservation Corps and their subcontractors. About 3,000 of those will be street trees, and then a little over 15,000 will be private property trees that homeowners can have, either that they receive through a distribution or adoption event hosted by one of the City Plants partners, or through enrollment on the website where they can receive 7 trees delivered to their home for free. So that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you for that. Any questions, colleagues? I see Commissioner Corson.
Thank you. I do have a question with this money that's been received. Is it a payment from DWP on any previous work, or is it for upcoming work?
Yes, the payment that was received is for this work moving forward. It isn't for past work.
And with that being said, what is the timing of reimbursements for LA Conservation Corps when it comes to it then? Will they be able to collect what is owed to them faster than, because I've heard from them that when it comes to public works, not necessarily this, but other things, that it takes a little bit longer to get paid, and just want to make sure now that we have funds sitting there, does that mean that they will be able to get paid quicker?
That's a great question, and definitely something I've also heard from the Conservation Corps is concerns about making sure that they're paid in a timely manner. I'm not prepared to answer kind of the timeline of those things. It's based on the resources we have within our departments that review the invoices and through accounting. But we have been, they have done a pause on work waiting for this funding to come in because of those challenges and have taken a pause on the program, still receiving applications but not doing the work until this contract is executed and moving forward. We've been talking with them closely and definitely hear those concerns. And one of the reasons, so in this report before the board today, typically we come and ask for a contract amendment for 6 months. This time I'm asking for an entire year's worth of work in order to prevent any future delays as we move forward with this new MOU with DWP. So that's one of the efforts that my office has taken, is saying let's not do a 6-month amendment when we know that the board has seen and reviewed the program and that we are all in agreement that this is going to move forward. Let's do the full year and then come back next year for the second year if that extension is exercised by the board and DWP. However, the resources for the repayment, again, we will do our part in terms of processing invoices, but I can't speak to the capacity of our other teams.
Thank you.
Dr. Davis?
You mentioned that there were some free trees that you're giving. Could you just explain that again? I apologize, I couldn't hear clearly.
Of course, yeah. So again, this program will have the 3,000 street trees that will be planted if you want a tree in front of your home. I think that there is currently a pause on taking some of those applications on the website as they work through the backlog and want to be communicating clearly with the public about kind of those timelines. But this program will be helping fulfill those requests for new street trees in front of people's homes where there is space and a permit can be obtained by those partners from our Urban Forestry Division within Streets LA. And then over 15,000 of those trees are private property trees where Angelenos can receive up to 7 free trees for planting on their private property.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Any other questions? I imagine once we begin with the notice to proceed, we'll have identified locations of where these trees go. How will you be identifying those locations, Rachel?
Again, right now, I think that City Plants is estimating around over 8,000 requests that have been received from residents for both programs, across both programs. And so there's a number of locations where Angelenos have already raised their hand and said, I want these resources here. Additional components of this new MOU include enhanced outreach to high-need communities, and that actually will be a contract amendment with City Plants that will be coming from before the board hopefully in January, looking at those enhanced engagement programs. We want to get the tree planting started, but some of those engagement programs will be managed directly by City Plants, which is also new in this MOU. The previous MOU, it was managed by City Plants, but went through Conservation Corps. Now we're saying, no, clearly this is the realm of City Plants and the work that they're doing. So we obviously are doing, those nonprofit partners help identify those locations. Some of these funds and some of the trees identified within this program have been used by them as match for some of their grants with the state. So enhancing the work that they're already doing in communities and allowing them to take that money from the state further. So it's really a collaboration.
Perfect. That's exactly the magic word there, the collaboration between the community, the city, our council district offices, it's all a collaboration, making sure that we put the right tree in the right place. Got that from you. So I just want to make sure that we do that. No, I'm actually very thrilled that we have this, and I'm excited to continue our tree planting efforts throughout the city. Remind us again, you given our expert for the city, tree planting season. We are currently in tree planting season. When does tree planting season end?
Well, we'd like to start planting when it cools down, which when I started in this work was around mid-September, but now we're tending to wait till October and mid-October to start kicking off our planting season. And typically we have our partners, we encourage them to plant through the end of May, knowing that it gets a little hotter towards that May-June time period, but we typically go October to May.
Thank you. It's always very, very informative and very important information to provide. Okay, any colleagues, any other questions, comments, concerns? Great. Is there a motion on the table to move this item forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 2 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
All right, Rachel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. We look forward to seeing those trees out there in the next coming year. Moving us along to item number 3. This is a request from the Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration in Council Districts 8 and 15. I'm going to read it into the record, and then I will take public comment right after that before our presenters. Contract award to KDC Inc., Walk, Bike, Watts, Transformative Climate Communities Project, Los Angeles Department of Transportation. Recommending the board to 1, declare KDC Inc. first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award KDC a contract for the Walk, Bike, Watts Transformative Climate Communities Project for $2,008,000, and 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract for after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Dr. Campos will take public comment now.
Absolutely. Dr. Tom Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 3. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment.
Thank you. Again, Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. This is kind of a strange one because walk and bike. There are other people who can't walk and often cannot use a bike. And are they going to be excluded? That is ADA compliance. So I'm quite concerned regarding walk bike, maybe walk assisted bike, something like that, to reflect the presence of large numbers of ADA restricted persons using our public ways. So I'd highly recommend that you do this, but make sure that it's going to include curb ramps, because I've done some preliminary reviews of the streets in the Watts area, and there are many, 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 many curbs which have no ramps at corners, and crossings are terrible. So I'd highly recommend doing this project, but get ADA compliance throughout the efforts. So I would like to request a copy of the contract from the general manager so that I can review it and get into the details as to what provisions are going to be provided in this contract for ADA compliance and curb ramps. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for public comments on item number 3.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. We have here today Mr. Michael Cabanilla. Mr. Michael Cabanilla, please come up. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I am Michael Cabanilla from LADOT. I'm here to present item number 3, which is to declare KDC Inc. The first for the Walk, Bike, Watts Transformative Climate Community Project. The project consists of installation of new traffic signals, a left turn modification, and pedestrian beacons crossing at 12 locations in Council District 8 and 15. This project intends to create a brighter future for the Watts community via transportation improvements. The contract duration is 240 working days. Parking loss assessment was conducted by LADOT and found that there will be 13 parking spaces that will be lost within 7 different locations. The council district has been notified, informed, and they are in support in this project. The project conducted a bid and we received 3 bids. And therefore, in view above findings, staff recommends that the board declare KDC Inc. first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award KDC the contract for this project for $2,008,000. I'll be happy to respond if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cabanilla. Any questions? I see Vice President Villegas. No questions from Vice President Villegas. Dr. Davis?
You mentioned that a part of the scope of work is to discover findings where there have been a loss of parking spaces is one of the examples. Are there other kinds of discoveries or explorations that will be done that will add to the need for improvement in those areas that you can share with us?
Yeah, the improvement was done to improve the traffic safety, installing those new traffic signals and pedestrian beacon. In light of that, that's why there's a total of 13 parking losses been lost for safety and visibility once you install those traffic safety devices.
Any other findings other than the loss of the parking spaces, though?
No, there's none.
Thank you. And how much did you tell us again that this project cost?
It's $2,008,000.
30 parking spaces was our finding?
Excuse me?
30 parking spaces was our finding? You said that there were, how many parking spaces did you say needed to be removed?
13.
13.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure the value of the $2 million and the 13 parking spaces. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I'm glad to hear 13 and not 30.
Yes.
The lowest we can do, the best. There's still a lot of folks that, have cars and families that have cars. I just want to make sure we're always mindful for that, too. Commissioner Reyes?
Yeah, I just want to make clear that we're fortunate to be given this opportunity. I know that the transformative climate community projects are really meant to empower communities most impacted by the pollution, right? To choose really their own goals and strategies and projects. And the overall goal is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and local air pollution. So the walk, bike, pedestrian safety are all those underlying activities, and options that the community has, and it's really up to them to help shape that and figure out, how they can lessen the impact and make their communities safer, and at the same time, in terms of public health, for those pollutions that they experience because they are in disadvantaged areas. We should be applying more for these kinds of grants. I know the city received a mega grant lately in South LA, so for Slate Z. So this is something that I think we should celebrate, and thank you, for LADOT for spearheading these types of projects as well, and really working in collaboration with our Department of Public Works. Thanks a lot.
Commissioner Corson? Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Commissioner Corson?
Thank you. Along the lines of what Commissioner Reyes says, so I just want to add to it. I was going to say somewhat the same things. It's only 12 intersections,
yes.
and I say only. Were there more identified? And if so, as Commissioner Reyes was alluding to, is there any strategies in accessing more grant funding to maybe increase that number?
Yeah, I think for this funding itself, we are limited to this one, but for sure there's multiple different projects that's coming up that will be focusing on affordable housing and all those locations that needs more help, which is specifically in South LA.
But in terms of this one, when you identified 12, was there more, and because of funding constraints it was made 12, or?
When it was initially, it's not more funding constraint. It was submitted because it's near the Watts Tower area, and they circled about a quarter-mile radius, and those are the improvements that they seen that needs to be improved on that location itself. So they focus on that certain radius.
Okay, because they're spread out. It's not just.
Yes, and it's spread out. It's around the Watts Tower itself.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Corson. Michael, can you address our public comment concern on the ADA access?
In regards to that, this project only constitute the actual traffic improvement because we are coordinated work with Streets LA already to install the ADA ahead of time. So the ADA on all this location has been installed before we even went through this because of budgetary concern as well.
Very well. Thank you for that explanation. Just want to make sure that we did address that, also a very important element. Thank you for that. I'm not seeing any other questions, colleagues. Any comments? Any other comments, concerns, objections? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 3 forward and forthwith?
I move.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. Is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 3 forward and forthwith. You want
Yes.
it forthwith, right?
Yes, we'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas. Aye. President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much this morning, and thank you. Please also want to thank the partnership we have between all year and multiple projects. Please send our regards to your team, and just we're very appreciative of the partnership we have with Department of Transportation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the remaining of this year, and we'll see you next year. All right, colleagues, that was the end of our voting items for today. We are moving into our oral report section. Item number 4, I take it the Metro team is online and not in person, Dr. Campos?
That is correct.
Okay. Do we have public comment for item number 4?
We do. We have one caller on the line, Dr. Tom Williams. If you can please unmute your microphone. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 4. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. Transportation projects. We need a listing and a schedule, if possible, to be provided by especially Metro and the Department of Transportation, and deliver it to DUN, Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, because the neighborhood councils need to know when these projects are coming and how they can deal with them. So Metro right now has a real problem with the gondola, which I have asked for an MOA or MOU between Metro and Department of Public Works and or DOT regarding the gondola project, because it's going to encroach in several public rights of way. And we don't know if even the city of Los Angeles is involved in it and how they are and who we can ask for information. But the first thing is transportation projects to be updated through DUN to all the neighborhood councils so that we can participate. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for public comments for item number 4. For any members of the LA Metro team that are still in the attendees queue and I may have missed you, if you can raise your hand, I will quickly add you as a panelist. And Johanna, you have co-host rights if you wanted to share your screen for the presentation. President Garcia, that does clear the queue for public comments.
Great, thank you very much. I'll read it into the record, just the title into the record, and then I'll turn the mic over to the Metro team. Item number 4, Transportation Projects Update, Metro and Department of Transportation. Public comment for item number 4 is now officially closed. And with that, I turn it over to the Metro team. Welcome.
Good morning, Board, and good morning, Chair. We're going to go through our presentation of 4 mega project. We will start with Regional Connector, I understand, and Matt Antonelli, the project manager, will lead the presentation.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, Matt Antonelli, Project Manager for Regional Connector. Thank you for your time. I'll give you a quick update of where we're at as a project. Again, just as a reminder, the Regional Connector is a project that's been under construction now for since 2014. We are looking to finish this project here soon. And I reported last time, I think I talked to you all, it would be in the fall 2022. The schedule has slipped into Q1 of 2023. So working hard in our testing and getting everything ready for an opening here shortly. Our progress is about 98% complete for the project, and the project includes 3 new stations and a connection between the existing Gold, Blue, and Expo lines. Go ahead, next slide. We'll go through each station and provide an update of where we're at. You can see our Little Tokyo Arts District station here. The plaza level is really coming together. A lot of the architectural finishes is what we're focused on now. The steel cladding is one of the big ones that you see. That yellow area will be covered in steel. But a lot of our artwork's in, our glass is in, we're into elevators and escalator testing, concrete finishes. So the stations in a whole are coming together. The picture on the right is a picture of the platform. We do have trains in the testing phase right now. So these platforms are somewhat finished. They're, like I said a minute ago, they're going through the elevator state inspection, things like that, but on track to be completed soon. Go ahead, next slide, please. Moving on to the historic Broadway station. This station is a little bit further behind than the central station I just shared with you all, but still kind of in the same process, architectural finishes, if you will. And the platform on the right shows kind of what our finished product's gonna look like down below. Next slide. Grand Avenue Arts Bunker Hill Station. This one is probably our furthest along, if you will. The picture on the left is our entrance structure. This is where you will be using the Ped Bridge to tie into the Broad Museum. The picture in the middle is our artwork that's inside of our elevator shaft, which is a grand piece of art there that will the public will be able to enjoy. And then our concourse level there on the side where you go down into the platform. Next slide, please. Civil restorations are going on along the alignment. We are working on some finishes of utilities. AT&T, I've spoke to you all in the past about. We're finishing up Broadway, Second Spring, and Second Broadway will come after that. We're also working on finishes of northbound Flower, which has been closed for quite some time. The contractor's in the process right now of finishing that construction as well. For the next slide. So when you start talking about upcoming street closures and requests, we will be back in front of the board here shortly. We're working with DOT and BOE for the 2nd Street closure for the AT&T vault, which is 2nd Street between Broadway and Hill. We anticipate going to the board in January for that. The middle bullet, the second bullet, the closure on southbound Flower between 1st and 3rd, that is incorrect. We are in the process of it's actually northbound Flower right now, but we phased the work in a way where we don't have to have a full closure. We're able to close it in half, so we reduced the impact to the public there. And then we'll have future weekends of just final paving, final caps in around Alameda, 1st Street, Temple Street, and getting all of the final restoration done, which is the final paving, striping, all of that. I'm happy to also report that we have finished our street restoration on Flower Street between 3rd and 6th, which was obviously a big one for us to, getting in and out of Flower. We removed all of our work zones. We final striped. And so I know that's been a contentious part for the project for some time, and happy to report that is behind us now. So that's a minor milestone for the project. Next slide, please. So before we go to the community outreach, I just want to reemphasize that the project as a whole is in the testing phase. We are actively running trains as far as our testing goes, and we're hoping to start pre-revenue service here soon, which is trains running on a daily basis for the next few months and getting us ready for our opening here Q1 of next year. Our community relations and public outreach team are still doing an amazing job meeting with all of the local businesses and stakeholders and keeping them up to date of all the issues that we have and everything that we have planned for the upcoming not only construction updates but also celebration updates as we celebrate each of these stations and celebrate the community for as a partnership that we've had with them for quite some time now. Next slide. One more. I'm not sure if there's anyone on from Business Interruption.
Hi, Eric Chun here with the Small Business Economic Resources team. So for the Little Tokyo area, as of November 16, 2022, approximately 110 awards have been granted, totaling with a total grant value of $2.3 million. And for the work that previously occurred on the Second and Broadway segment, 36 grants were awarded with a total grant value of about $950,000.
Thank you, Eric. And that concludes the Regional Connector presentation. If there's any questions for me.
Thank you, Mr. Antonelli. Any questions, colleagues, for what is your Regional Connector? I see Commissioner Villegas.
Yes, if you can clarify, when is it opening?
I'm going to answer Q1. We're still fine-tuning the exact date on that, and I'm not. I can't project the actual date quite yet. We still have a lot of processes to go through.
Okay.
Sometime in March is probably.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Davis? Questions? Okay. Commissioner Corzine, just clarification, I see that we have, under the Business Interruption Fund, you have awarded 110 grants, but there's 33 businesses. In the bottom, there's also discrepancy. Is that because it's been, for lack of a better word, but double granted to some businesses?
I wouldn't say double granted, but businesses can qualify more than once. The same businesses can qualify more than once.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time? I didn't get it through my audio here.
Okay, so businesses can qualify for DIF assistance more than once. So the total number of businesses that qualified in the Little Tokyo area is about 33 businesses, but they can't qualify more than once for assistance.
Okay, thank you. And we continue to support them even through the holiday time, that we'll make sure that we continue to support them during the holiday time, right? Because I know a lot of them would be impacted in their businesses.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, just keep in mind, we don't really have any more street closures that, I'll say in the holiday period, we have a holiday moratorium. So we're not going to be doing a whole lot of paving and things during the holiday. We try to work with the community.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Antonelli, for the clarification.
I would like to add that businesses do also, as upon substantial completion of the project, they do have up to 6 months to apply for funding.
Okay.
Afterwards.
After the project is done. So after March, they'll still have 6 months to apply and receive any grants awards, right?
That is correct.
Thank you. Oh, that's good to hear, by the way. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I don't see any other questions or comments for the Regional Connector Transit Project. Thank you, Mr. Antonelli. I don't know who goes next, but we're good with this one.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's Jim Cohen for PL1. Purple Line.
Good morning, Board. Jim Cohen, Project Manager for Section 1. This slide is just indicating the scope of Section 1. Again, goes from Wilshire Western out to Wilshire La Cienega and Beverly Hills. Almost 4 miles with 3 stations. Right now, the progress of the job is 79% complete, and we're still forecasting revenue service in the fall of 24. Next slide, please. Okay, got Fairfax first. Okay, so we'll take Fairfax. Hopefully, we'll get back to La Brea. The upper right photograph is the entrance structure. You can see the formwork, and they're actually placing concrete for some of the interior walls. The lower right photograph is the block wall construction inside the station, which forms some of the individual rooms in the ancillary area. And the lower left is a good photograph of the false work that we use to form up the arched roof for our stations, for For the new Purple Line, all our stations don't have center columns. It's a more open environment, and that just shows you the structure that's used to set up so we can place that arched roof. Next slide, please. So we're not planning on any street closures for the next 6 months, but we will in the future be coming back for a street closure for South Orange, which will be required for due to some street restoration work and constructing a vault cover for LADWP. Next, please. Eric?
Sure. So for the Purple Line Extension Section 1, as of November 16, 2022, approximately 272 grants have been awarded with a total grant value of $6.9 million.
Any question? Next.
Give me a second. Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Actually, I was very happy to see that middle slide there with no street closures for the next 6 months. We appreciate that very much. And I'm sure the community truly appreciates that. So any questions, comments, colleagues? Hearing none. Thank you for section number 1 of the Purple Line.
Thank you.
So section number 2, Mike McKenna, project manager.
Good morning, President Garcia and Commissioners. Mike McKenna, Project Manager of Section 2, the Purple Line Extension. So Section 2 is the next 2.5 miles moving west with about 15% of the alignment in the city of Los Angeles in the Century City area. We can go to the next slide, please. So we're a little bit more than halfway complete with the project. Century City is hosting construction of the station as well as it's the construction site for our tunnels that go out to La Cienega through the city of Beverly Hills. So we have staging areas on Century Park East that are supporting that work. Next slide, please. So I'm happy to report to the board that one of our 2 tunnel boring machines completed its journey to La Cienega just before Thanksgiving. So Harriet is docked at the interface between Section 1 and Section 2 at the west end of the tail tracks that were constructed just beyond the La Cienega station. So that machine will be dismantled and removed from its final resting spot underground back to Century City. The parts will come out back to Century City. It won't be as glamorous as when the machine arrived and, you know, we had a big ceremony showing off the cutter head. Everything gets cut up underground and removed. The shield of the machine will stay in place, and we'll build a cast in place concrete lining connecting the 2 sections of the Purple Line. So our second machine, Ruth, is either going to arrive just before Christmas or somewhere. It depends with the holidays, but it could be right before the holidays or it could be the 1st or 2nd week of January. But we have about 670 feet to go on the second tunnel. So we're getting there, almost done with the digging. It's so far, we haven't had any issues with excavation through the city of Beverly Hills, and it's been pretty quiet, which is good. We like it that way. Next slide, please. For the station construction in Century City, we're officially below all of the utilities. The last 2 utilities we had were city-owned storm drain and sewer. We're actively excavating under Avenue of the Stars and towards the west end of the station to try to catch up to where we excavated down to the east. So we're just under 70% complete. It says 63% on when we prepared this PowerPoint. I think it's 68% as of today. But you can see in the photo on the bottom left, that's a traffic lane that's preserved for the hotel driveway on Constellation Boulevard. So that photo was taken looking west on Constellation with Avenue of the Stars behind the photographer, showing the fenced off area where we're excavating out or through the deck panels in the station and loading trucks. And we're doing that in a way to maintain access to all of the driveways. around the construction site. We did make some modifications to our traffic control leading up to the holiday period based on some feedback that we got from stakeholders that were worked out with City Department of Transportation staff and Bureau of Engineering staff. And that was on the lead up to our request recently for the ability to work during the holiday period. So we appreciate this board's approval of that request. And in the photo on the bottom right, you can see the remainder of the storm drain work that we're doing on Avenue of the Stars north of our station box. And because of this board's approval of the holiday work request, we expect to have the storm drain work on Avenue of the Stars wrapped up in early February, which is great because that will allow us to turn over the rest of this area of Avenue of the Stars to the developer who's building a building immediately adjacent to our station entrance. So this board's action in allowing us to keep working during the holiday period had a positive effect on the adjacent development. So that's always appreciated too. Next slide, please. And like section 1, we are not forecasting any full street closures over the next 6 months. We have lane closures associated with the work you saw in one of the photos, the lane closure around the excavation area west of Avenue of the Stars, but that's been typical here in Century City for the last couple of years. But again, no full street closures being requested in the near future. Next slide, please. And Eric, this is yours.
Sure. So for Purple Line Extension Section 2, as of November 16, 2022, approximately 138 grants have been awarded with a total grant value of $3.7 million.
So with that, are there any questions from the board for section 2?
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. I do not see any lights on. I don't see any comments. No questions on section 2. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So section 3, Matthew Crow presenting for Cambry On, the project manager. Matthew is the deputy project manager.
Yeah, good morning, President Garcia and commissioners of the Board of Public Works. And apologies for bringing the English weather to you for the last few days, but maybe we like a bit of cool. Just quickly run through the slides here with you. We've almost finished the design, 97% complete. So you just need to do that little bit to finish. And overall project progress 44%. So we're inching away to the halfway point, which will be very exciting for the project. But otherwise, other things remain the same. And just remind you, this is the section from Constellation through to the Westwood Veterans Affairs Hospital with a station at Westwood UCLA. So that's 2 stations. So let's get into some of the detail about what we've been doing out in the field. So next slide. Excellent. So tunneling. We've been quietly tunneling away without bothering the outside world, which is the way we like it. Very steady progress. Maybe a bit disappointing on the production, but we've got the steady progress, which means good construction without mishap. They've got 2 tunnel boring machines, Iris, which we call the BR machine. That is over 80% complete, and that tunnel boring machine is now actually between Beverly Glen and Santa Monica Boulevard. We're about we started tunneling through the zone of the Santa Monica Fault, so which is, I guess, exciting for the techies. But as far as tunneling is concerned, it really doesn't make that much difference. But just to let you know where we are, the Santa Monica Fault is around, obviously, Santa Monica Boulevard. Fancy that. And then the BL machine Aura, that is about a bit further behind, but is now just between Pandora and Beverly Glen, for those of you who know the area. So we're coming towards the finish line, and as you can see, with the production, it's obviously disappointing in terms of production, but I like to look at the positive, which is every ring and every foot that we mine, we do in a safe and safe way, which is very important, particularly as we're tunneling underneath residences and offices and other important infrastructure, like the city infrastructure. So we're looking at getting to Constellation in the new year, maybe one of the machines on Valentine's Day. That'll be kind of fun. So we're and that will really be that will be the last running tunneling for a while. Obviously, we've got the cross passages every 800 foot to construct between the tunnels, but that'll be quite a milestone for Metro and I guess the city. So you'll be able to walk 9 miles from the Western station there through the tunnel to the VA. If you, theoretically, will be something one could do. Next slide. So detail what we're doing. Westwood UCLA Station. We've been very busy over the last 3 months, and with really good support from the city family, particularly LA DOT, working with the complex, the traffic management over the weekend, where a lot of Wilshire Boulevard is closed. We've actually completed all the decking, which is a big milestone for us, and thanks for everyone in the city family who made that possible. We got it done before Thanksgiving, which was great. And we've now started doing the excavation. We just started excavating at Lot 36 for the last few weeks, which is on the north side of the site, north side of the station, which will be the main mining site for the station, as the mining will be done obviously beneath the decking. And so that's kind of an exciting thing for the project. And I guess the good thing for the city folks is that we've got the decking, so hopefully we'll have very limited impact on the traveling public in their vehicles. There is some work we are doing in the street. We've got still a little bit of utility relocation to complete. There's some storm drain work which we're doing at night, obviously with traffic management, and that's when the traffic is much lower on Wilshire Boulevard. And then continuing installation of the geotechnical instrumentation that obviously we use for our control of the works, but also to make sure that we don't adversely impact city utilities and the street. Next slide. This is quite an exciting picture here. We're looking at the Westwood VA station. So this is on the VA campus. What's different here from all the other stations you've seen with Jim and Mike is that we were able to do this station without putting a decking on top of it, because we're actually within the VA campus. So I like to think I characterize the work we've done before, like particularly at UCLA, is like keyhole surgery. This is like doing open heart surgery. We've got great access to do the excavation and support, which will be interesting to see how much better it is and how much easier. It might be food for thought for future projects is, could we do this rather than trying to work beneath decking? So we've been starting work at this excavation from the east end, and we're proceeding west. The other big work, obviously this is in the front entrance of the Veterans Affairs Hospital. There's this thing we've been talking about, the steam tunnel. Obviously the hospital uses steam. That is ongoing. We've got the main civil works completed, so it's a matter of doing the fit out with things pipe, and there's a whole bunch of mechanical electrical equipment, and then obviously dewatering instrumentation going. But this is really exciting for the project, is seeing this massive excavation start. And you know, if you're wanting to see this for yourselves, you can get a great view from the 405 freeway and particularly the on and off ramps onto Wilshire. Next slide. So on schedule, obviously something important to the board here is our schedule for the work at UCLA, because that obviously is in city territory and the work in the street. You can see we've completed the decking. So for the next few months, we're going to be working, you know, under the decking, with doing the excavation and support under the decking to excavate the station down. And obviously that will involve a massive trucking operation, removing soil, which again we've coordinated with stakeholders and folks at the city. And on that, Eric, next slide.
Thank you. So for Purple Line Extension Section 3, Metro's Board of Directors authorized the inclusion of BIF in February 2019. So far, grants have not been yet awarded for this section, but I would like to say that there are businesses that are starting the application process. So hopefully there will be a better update for the next meeting. To give you an overview of the BIF total for all projects as of November 16, 2022, a total amount of 1,430 grants have been awarded with a total grant value of $35.5 million.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And obviously, President Garcia and commissioners, any questions?
Thank you for that, sir, on your report. Any questions, colleagues? Seeing none. I do have a quick question. Oh, Dr. Davis, apologies. Okay. I have a quick question. When is your tunnel boring aura leaving? So I could go see it before it happens. Your tunnel boring machine, when does it go back home?
Well, the tunnel boring machines will be completing tunneling. The first one, I'm thinking February, and the other one a month after. So that's, I mean, it'll be a sad day actually, because I'm actually a tunnel guy. So I mean, that's a date that you need to remember. And obviously, if you're wanting to have a look-see at what's going on, is we talk to my boss Kimberly Ong or any of or Samagali, and we can make something happen.
Great. Well, I would love to see it before it goes back home, especially the one named after me.
Which? Okay, thanks. Well, that's very important.
I know it wasn't named after me, but thank you so much. It has my name. All right. Well, I'll connect with you anyways. We still have till February, so perhaps we can go out there sometime in January and just kind of see the project all around.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, now we can do tours. Now I guess we're sort of post-COVID, so I mean, we welcome the interest, and it will help understanding of what Metro's trying to achieve with our work, which I think is important. It's not just a boondoggle. This is important that you as a president and commissioners, see for yourselves what we're actually doing.
Yeah, thank you. It's highlighting the collaboration we have between us and LA Metro is really important. Thank you for that. So I do encourage my colleagues here to go out there to some of the Metro projects. It's really, you really understand the big scope that we have, and so you come here, you give us presentations or you ask for street closures, but there's just an immense amount of work that you guys are doing by excavating. And so if you haven't gone out to go see where we're at in any of our Metro projects, I do encourage my colleagues here to go, because it's really, you get a different perspective of what we're doing out there. Thank you for that. With that, I don't see any questions for section number 3. We can move on to your next stop. Or is this your last one already for Metro?
Sammy, you're on mute.
Somebody's on mute.
Sorry, President Garcia, I was advised, there's just correction in section 1. I was advised that the presentation had a mistake. We have a street closure for section 1 in South Orange Drive early in 2023, and will come for the street closure approval later on, just to correct the presentation.
We were so happy with that slide.
Sorry.
All right, so is this your last one, or do you still have another presentation?
That's it. We're
That's
done.
it. Wow. So they're getting shorter and shorter now.
Yeah.
That's
we'll
a good
open
thing for us.
We open Crenshaw, so one less.
Exactly. We're not presenting on the Crenshaw line anymore, so that makes it one less. Thank you very much. Because Crenshaw line is now opened. Yay. Okay, well, I don't see any overall questions to the Metro team, colleagues. Seeing none. Any comments, objections? Hearing none. Thank you so much for your time to the Metro team. We appreciate you. Happy holidays, and we hope to see you in the coming year.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Campos, does that clear our desk?
Yes, it does.
Great. Colleagues, it's 11:49, December 7th, and this meeting is now officially adjourned. See you all Friday via Zoom. Thank you.